new setup here at the college for the mayor's address. So I think we've done pretty well so far. We've incorporated both Rotary clubs, and we've expanded the attendance by almost double. Somebody asked me, are they here to see me or are they here to see Frank? I said, they're definitely here to see Frank. So, it's my honor to welcome everybody, especially our Lorain County Chamber members, Elyria Rotary and Elyria Sunrise Rotary members, our government officials, residents, and guests to the Elyria Mayor's Address. This annual City Address provides a unique opportunity for the public to hear from the Elyria Mayor, Frank Whitfield, as he shares his thoughts on the local, social, and economic climate, along with his vision for growth and the future of Elyria and all Lorain County. The County Chamber is grateful to work with both Elyria Rotary Clubs and the Mayor's Office to make this happen. I do want to introduce a few of our elected officials that are in the audience today. We have all three of our Lorain County Commissioners, Lori Kokoski, Matt Lundy, and Sharon Sweda. Also from the county, we have Craig Snodgrass and Judy Nedwick. I know representing the City of Lorain is Assistant Safety Service Director Rick Soto. And from the heart of Lorain County, Sheffield Village, Mayor John Hunter. Just to give a quick overview, the annual meeting of the Chamber kicked off in January and it kicked off our year for 2020. Our title of the annual meeting was Clear Vision 2020. Our goal is to continue to work with all of our organizations that call Lorain County home and our institutions focusing on moving Lorain County forward. Many of them are here today and ready to help get that done. I'm also happy to announce our 4th Annual Economic Summit will take place on May 8th here at Lorain County Community College. Our keynote speaker will be Dr. David DeLong, who will be presenting a program on closing the skills gap, innovative talent solutions for a changing workforce. You can sign up to attend that now. We do have a request to Lieutenant Governor John Husted to participate, and we're pretty confident that he will be here on May 8th as well too. Again, the Chamber will be partnering with the SBDC at Lorain County Community College that week for National Small Business Week, where we will be working with our local entrepreneurs. We hope to include activities all week. Stay tuned on that. Lisa Hudson and I are working on that. But I do want to give a shout out to the sponsors of our Economic Summit, Nordson Corporation, Northwest Bank, Community Foundation of Lorain County, First Energy, Lorain County Commissioners, Lorain County Community College, Lorain Port Authority, Maloney and Novotny, Pulse Magazine, Ross Environmental, and Team NEO. Next Thursday, for those of you who want to do this all over again, we'll be hosting the City of Lorain's mayoral address with the Honorable Jack Bradley. This year we will also be mixing things up and we will be at Ariel on Broadway, the new hotel, the former Spitzer Hotel. This is done in conjunction with our friends at Lorain Rotary. Seats are limited as far as what's available now, so if you are interested in attending, please sign up as soon as you can. We're also in the process of finalizing a date for the State of the County Address with our county commissioners. We've got a couple of dates out there now. As soon as we get one formalized, we will let everybody know. I also think it's fitting that I get to introduce Elyria's first elected African-American mayor during Black History Month, as well as what would have been Toni Morrison's 89th birthday. With that being said, I think it's appropriate to introduce my fellow Elyria Sunrise Rotarian, the Honorable Frank Whitfield, from the great city of Elyria, with a quote from Toni Morrison. If there's a book that you want to read, but it hasn't been written yet, then you must write it. If there's one person in this room today that's going to write a book about the city of Elyria, I think it's Frank Whitfield. So with that, let's welcome.
I had to put all this context into Toni Morrison and all this other stuff, and Tony, appreciate you for that introduction. I want to start off by first thanking the Chamber. Thank you all for continuing to host this, Tony. Thank you to the Rotary Clubs that partnered together to make this event successful. Good to see you, Sherman. Yeah, good to see you. Sorry. Thank you for being here. It's one of my mentors and one of the reasons I'm here right now. So I want to definitely acknowledge you. I want to thank my wife, Kalina, the First Lady of Elyria. Thank you. Thank you for your support throughout this whole journey. I want to acknowledge any clergy that is in there. If you have any clergy that's here, please stand. Any clergy, please stand. Just want to acknowledge you. Thank you. Thank you. I know Tony did already, but I definitely want to ask all the elected officials to please stand and be recognized as well. If you're an elected official, please stand. And I've got some of my city council folks in here as well. So, here we go. So I was joking around. I said, I don't sing, I don't dance, at least not outside the house. And so I'm really curious as to why you all are here. So I was actually going around asking people, like, why are you here? What are you here? What are you hungry for? And people said they want to hear the changes and things that are going on in the city. I have to remind them it's 48 days of the job. But we have started a good process. So we're going to talk about just where we are, what we've been working on. Before we do that, we have a special presentation we'd like to give to our host. And so, it's an honor to be able to present this to them. LCC, it's amazing that we're here for one, but as someone who came here at age 18, didn't know what I was going to do, and struggled. Many of you have heard my story of failing out my first year in college and needing to bounce back. And this community college was always there for me, and it taught me how to be a leader. And so I'm proud of this place. My daughter is also an alma mater here, so my wife goes to school here. This place is our home. And so, not only personally, but from the city standpoint, Lorraine County Community College is one of our largest employers in the city. It's the best community college for student success in the nation, and we host them right here in the city of Elyria. So I thought it would be a yes, please give me So, of course, I learned the different things I can do as mayor. And so one of the things I wanted to make sure I did was acknowledge this wonderful institution. So I'd like Tracy Green to come on up from the college, and we have a key to the city that we'd like to present to Lorraine County Community College.
More so brought to this community. That's what you've allowed for over 50 years to be created right here with hope and opportunity that has led to over 50,000 graduates to pass the stage. So that applause is for you, and we thank you for your continued support and partnership. Now I have to ask you, do you recognize that face? Remember that date I asked you to remember? From October 3rd, 1966. This was taken October 8th, 2008. And so Frank, you're maybe 20, 21 years old, around that age? Yeah, early 20s? A very young Frank Whitfield on our campus. And Frank, attending your inauguration, your words really deepened our perspective of what it means to make sure that we're looking all across our community for those who may not be the ones that you put on the radar screen, for who could be that next leader, that next inventor, that next entrepreneur. And you know what? We found him right here on our campus as the next mayor of Elyria, and we couldn't be more proud. And if we walked across this campus today, I think we could share that same message. Who's that next mayor? Who's that next sheriff? Who's that next big idea inventor? And how are we as a community going to wrap our arms around them? And I think in this room, you have done that and you continue to do that. We are asking you, as you consider going to the polls on March 17th, to renew that commitment that this community gave back in 1963 by passing issue 17 for Lorraine County Community College. It's our chance to look at who are those next Frank Whitfields, who are those next sheriff's committees, and how many others of you in this room have attended this institution or someone in your family. Would you raise your hand? So if you've had an impact by this institution, or if you look at the future of what it may mean to this community, we ask for your support. It is a renewal of 1.8 with a modest addition of 0.5. And what that equates to is $1.46 more per month on a $100,000 home. Back in 1963, this issue was a 1.25 mil, so it has not grown much in 57 years. But your support ensures that the community support, the name in our college, will continue. And we ask that in advance. We thank you, and we thank you for getting out, and more importantly, to vote and be engaged in your community. And Frank, I thank you for the gift and the key to the city, but we share that, and we'll make this community, all of our county, better together. Thank you very much.
So thank y'all for coming out today. And, so y'all can, no, I'm joking. It was like, oh, that was it. No, we got some more. So thank you again, Tracy, for sharing what a beautiful gym this is. I neglected to mention, you mentioned Sheriff's Committee, but any of our first responders who are here, if you could please stand and be recognized as well. I know we got Chief Mack, Chief Whitfield here, but any of our other first responders here. If we're going to do anything, we have to do it together. So I want to do a quick shout out and introduce my team to you. Oh, just a quick reminder, it's day 48. You know, not that we're counting, but we announced this 100-day plan, and we've been really diligent about it, and just wanted to remind you all, because I have to remind myself every day. I'm like, come on, why isn't this changing? Why isn't the mall doing this? Why? It's like, Frank, you've only been here a week, it's like, oh yeah, let me slow down. So, but I do want to introduce my team. First, I want to recognize all my folks from the city of Elyria. If you could please wave your hand, my city of Elyria employees who are in the building, thank you. Thank y'all for being here. And now I want to introduce my team. So it's important for me to kind of assemble a team that was willing to lead in the attitude that I believe in and buy into our philosophy. And so I'm going to ask you to stand up as I introduce you. So first is Don Calvert. Don Calvert is leading our business services for the city. Kevin Brubaker is leading our city transformation and resident services. Mark Ballard II, the mayor's liaison. Leanna Westergaard is our office manager. James Taylor, Jim Taylor, is our administrative legal counsel. Brent Flanders is my chief of staff. And the first day on the job, my safety service director, Derek Firestein. This is my team. So Derek was a city manager over in Richmond, and he had to transition, so there was some time, so today is actually his first day technically on the job. So it's a good first day, right? So please make sure you introduce yourself to Derek if you don't already know him. So now let's go into what I'm focused on and what I believe we need to focus on as a city. Are y'all still okay? I know some of you. Let's stand up for everybody. Stand up for a second, because y'all ain't gonna fall asleep on me. Stand up. We're gonna get loose a little bit. We're gonna get loose a little bit. Let me see. What type of chant we gonna do? So with LCC, since we're at LCC, hey Ryan, you were motivating people at Multi-Link the other day. You know, we need something motivational right now. So on the count of 3, I want you to say LCCC. All right, that'll wake us up, right? 1, 2, 3, LCCCC. CCC. Oh, 3, one more time. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, LCCC. All right, y'all wake up. Thank y'all for indulging in that. I'm not gonna fall asleep. All right, so really there was 3 areas where I felt like as a city we need to really focus our attention on and our energy on. And though I appreciate being, the first African American elected as mayor, the first independent elected, that's an honor. But I didn't become mayor just to check off a box to say I became mayor. I didn't do this just so the status quo can continue as is. And we look back 4 years later and say, oh, it's great, we had this guy as the mayor, but life's still the same. So it was interesting in the parking lot. I was talking to Derek yesterday, and we were talking about, I had to reinforce. I said, Derek, we're in here for transformation. We're not in here for incremental change. We're in here to transform the city. There's 3 areas where I truly believe we need to be thinking about that transformation. That's around our communities, our economy, and our culture. I'm going to go really briefly and quickly through this because I want to be respectful of your time. So the first piece is around our community, and this African proverb is something that I hold near and dear, and it says, if you want to go fast, go alone. If you want to go far, go together. And if this is a testament of that today, if us as a group in here, we have UH, we got Mercy, we got the Cleveland Clinic, we got so many, partners that if we could work together, imagine how far we can actually go. The temptation is, especially in political climates, is to rush for quick wins. And sometimes when you go for those quick wins, it's not as impactful as it could be if you slow down a little bit and engage others in the process and allow others to have input. So I think it's important for us as a community as we look at these issues that we're trying to address. I grew up in Southside Elyria, and so I've witnessed a number of obstacles that I've had to go through to be here today. And I think the important thing is, it's great that I beat the odds, but it's up to us to change the odds. It's for it to no longer be an anomaly for some young kid from the south side of Elyria to become mayor, to be successful, or an African American male to be in this position, or African American woman to be in this position. We need to change the odds. So there's no longer something we're celebrating, it's just an expectation. In order to do that, we're going to have to work together. So that's our approach in terms of our community work, building collaborations and working together to get things done. The second piece related to that, and I was told we have a special announcement. I can't make the full announcement with Neighborhood Alliance. But I got the chance throughout the campaign to volunteer for a number of organizations, and one of them was Neighborhood Alliance. And as I was going around knocking on doors, and also when I got a chance to volunteer for the Meals on Wheels, I would knock on an elderly person's door. I'd knock on the door, sit there a couple minutes, nobody would come, I'd start going to the next house. Then, as I got to the next house, I'd see an elderly woman come out the door and say, hey, excuse me, and I come back over, hey, I'm sorry, Frank Whitfield, running for mayor, etc. I'm here with the Meals on Wheels to deliver your meal. And I'd say, do you live here alone in this house? Yeah, I live here alone. Or, do you have any kids? Oh, yeah, they live out of town. Well, who checks up on you? And that kept happening over and over, and I saw how neglected our seniors were. So one of the pieces that we're doing is forming this Elders Council to come up with a solution to serve our elders and our seniors in our city. And so whether that's in the form of transportation, whether that's in the form of a senior center, we're developing this elders council for that. The other piece is around youth. So I mentioned my journey as a young person in this city, and we have a great opportunity. We have our Elyria schools here. We have all new middle school and elementary schools being built in the city. But as we know, buildings don't necessarily mean transformation. We've seen in other communities, they've gotten new buildings and ended up in a worse situation than they were prior to. So we know that buildings don't equal success, but it does provide a great opportunity for us to do something different. And so I'm looking forward to working with Superintendent Anschloss and our schools within the city to form this economic summit where we can really partner and find ways for you all to engage in the empowerment of our young people. And so, I know some of you are like, all right, well, what can I do for kids? Well, I was joking earlier, I said, well, I'm about to turn this into one big meeting. Because a lot of you have been wanting to meet, so Community Foundation. Your role in our youth work could be helping to fund and support our youth camps and our work outside of school. Library. You could be a center outside of that too, where young people can go after school and make sure your hours are extended and programs are for young people. Our business community. You could host a young person as an intern or do a one-day camp where they can come out and get exposed to careers. You could ask your employees to become mentors and mentor young people and walk hand in hand with them as they get a chance to explore careers. Our faith community. You have some of the most passionate people that are willing to do work for free. How do we get those folks involved and become mentors and open up those church doors so that young people have things to do outside of school hours? So there's a space for everyone to get involved. The question is, are you going to? So that's around the community. The next piece is around the economy. So as you probably read in today's paper, you probably know for a couple of years now, within a 5-year period, we have lost 2 of our top 10 employers, losing over 1,000 jobs to the city. And so when that happens, we have a choice. We can give up on developing and our image as an economic engine as a city, or we can backfill those jobs, create the next generation of entrepreneurs, and help the companies in this city grow. And so we've decided to do the latter. And we have an economic strategy of build, attract, and grow. And the building is around building a city for entrepreneurs. So we're working with the SBDC, with other economic development organizations to help entrepreneurs so that Elyria is a great place to do business. I saw Dan Martin had registered. Is Dan here? Good to see you. So we got folks opening businesses downtown. Got Jessica Rogers here, another entrepreneur. I saw some folks in the back. We're having conversations about more entrepreneurship and restaurants going on in the city. And I want to make Elyria the best place for entrepreneurs. But they know, hey, they can contact Dawn, and once they contact her, the ball gets rolling. We got supports there, we have funding there, and then this city is a great place for entrepreneurs. The second thing is around attraction. So as I met with one of those employers that is planning on leaving, as you probably read about in the paper, we talked about what is the dynamic of why they're leaving. And then the following week, we had a company that was actually choosing to stay and expand. We had a meeting with them. And it all comes down to, and I'll talk more about the company that decided to stay. We asked them kind of, what's motivating you to stay here? Don and I were in a meeting. And they said, it's the people. They said, if we went to another place, we would have to retrain people, find people, etc. But your people have a work ethic here. They show up on time. They have integrity. And they're the reason our company is where it is today. And that's a part of our attraction strategy, is to invest in the people of Elyria, upskill them, make sure they have a connection with the community college here so that they're skilled, so that it makes it hard for employers to leave. But also, if an employer is looking to come to our city, they know Elyria's got a group of people ready to work, and they work hard. And so that's our attraction strategy. The last piece is around growth, and that's working in partnership with our business community to help them solve problems. So, we met with one of our larger employers last week and talked to them about, there's other things we can offer other than tax incentives. The challenge with that is it's a race to the bottom. It's like competing on price. Who can be the cheapest? We don't want to be a cheap city. We have high-quality services. We're a high-quality city. We're not racing to the bottom. So our conversation is about what else can we offer as a city. And so we talked about the ability to market, the ability to assist with workforce development, our different, I think one thing that we saw through the Bendix Week that we did as a community is our pride as a community and how great of a community it is to be in Elyria and do business in Elyria. In other cities, a company leaves, they're like, too bad. Our city showed, how we rally together around things, and I think that was special. So that's the G around our economic strategy. But the last thing, and the most important thing, my MBA training, they infused this idea of culture and the importance of culture. And there's a quote by Peter Drucker that says, culture eats strategy for breakfast. And what that means is you can have the greatest plans in the world, I can be the greatest leader or whatever in the world, but if the culture is toxic, and you've probably seen this in your workplace, if things aren't as good as they should be, somebody comes with a great idea, hey, we should do this change, but if the environment is not there, it's just dead in the water. And so we believe that if we're going to be successful as a city, we have to address the culture within our city. And I'll talk about 3 areas of that culture that I think are important. And to do that, I'll talk about the Steelers and the Browns. All right? And so we're not going to talk about Myles Garrett and what he did to the Steelers. But we're going to talk about the Steelers and the Browns. How many Steelers fans in here? All right, you can leave now. So Steelers fans, we thank you for coming. As a part of the program we studied the difference between the Steelers and the Browns. And so if you remember the last game we played the Steelers, we were up at halftime, we were feeling real good. Then after the halftime, they just came back and slaughtered us and beat us. And they interviewed someone after the game and said, what did you say during halftime? Why did you guys, what turned around? He said, we were expecting to win. And when I think about Elyria, and I think about the comments you see on Facebook and some of the feedback I get, a lot of times we're not expecting to win. When we hear there's a library going in, or we hear we're always looking for what's about to go wrong. All right, I see this Frank guy, but what's about to go wrong? Something's got to be up. And that belief that we lack, it hurts us in terms of where we're going as a city. So one of my challenges to you all is to have belief, have hope, not in me, but in each other. Have hope in the best in one another, and if we can bring that out, we can be successful. The second piece is around unity. And so in the city of Elyria, it's very clear we got this east side, west side, north side, south side kind of mentality of division. We got black, we got white, we got community, we got police. And so I think another challenge that I'm excited about is us breaking down those barriers and us really having a unified front in terms of working together on our shared goals. So that's why we formed the Community Police Council. We're going to do a lot around unity. If you remember work I did when I was at the Urban League, we did a lot of work around inclusion, but making sure that we're unified as a city. And the last piece is around engaging people. So even as you can see in this presentation, and y'all got lucky, because I was about to make all y'all work today, because I'm all about engaging people. And so our plan initially was all y'all was going to have papers on your table, and we were going to have y'all work on some solutions and come up with it. They talked me out of that. So I'm going to spare y'all for today. But I'm all about engaging people. And I think it's important for us all to be involved and engaged in some capacity. And listen and share your perspective, because I believe that's how we get the best out of everyone. So it's those 3 things that we're really focused on as a city. And how do we get there? I think we get there from a community standpoint by collaboration and partnerships. We got to work together. So I'm excited to work with the community college and the business community on these initiatives. Our economy, again, it's around partnerships. It's around innovation. I don't want to hear, and this is a notice to everyone. I'm glad I get the mic for a minute. This is a notice to everyone. I don't want to hear we have not done that before. I want to hear how can we do that. Even if it's, hey Frank, in order to do that, you got to change this law, you got to change this has got to be changed in order for that to happen. But this whole notion of, oh no, that can't be done, or no, what's the question? That has to go. We have to be open to new ideas and new thinking. The writing is on the wall about Midwest legacy cities. The writing's on the wall. It's just like the writing's on the wall about malls. The writing is on the wall. So unless we're going to be bold enough to do something different to disrupt that, we already know what the outcome is going to be. We're just riding along on this journey together, watching it happen. Or we can make a decision to be bold, be courageous, and do something different. So I don't want to hear, we can't, I want to hear how. All right? And then we have to have a commitment. So this work is going to be difficult, and there will be distractions. I think it's important that we commit to each other. We commit to each other and commit to this city. Because, those negative headlines are going to come. You know, those negative stories are going to come. Negativity, skepticism is going to come. And when it does, we need to be committed to the city. We need to be committed to progress in the city. And so that's what I'm asking for you on the economy side. And again, on the culture, you know, building that sense of pride. I was in tears, and I'm finding myself crying a lot recently. I was almost in tears earlier with Tracy. But I was in tears when we did the whole Bendix Week piece. I got sick, actually, so I was out of the office for a day, and so I had no idea what was going on in the community. And so when I came back, they're like, yeah, we got 40 businesses who are putting up signs, we got this company's doing this company's doing this, and it was like, wow, that's the city I live in. You know, what other city will do that? And I feel so, you should feel good saying that. What other city will do that? You know, Elyria did that. And so we should be proud of this city, and I want us to stick our chest out, walk with our head high, and again, that believing and listening is a part of how we'll get there as well. So I'm excited, my team's excited, we're charged up, we're asking you to come join us on this journey. We have a number of forums on Elyria.org. If you go to Elyria.org, it'll redirect you to a page where we're surveying, asking you for how you want to be communicated with, asking you for feedback on our website. There's ways to get involved if you want to get involved in the youth work and the elders council and the business work. We have that available to you right there on Elyria.org, so we ask you to go there. And I really just hope that you're all charged up and fired up as I am, because we have a great opportunity to do something different here. Let's take advantage of it, all right? God bless you. Thank you. Yep, so go ahead, fire up some questions. And we have a mic, I think, and so we got a microphone, and you can just yell it out. And I'd like to take 3 questions at once, if possible. I'll just tell them my strategy there. I'll let them do it too. Any questions? No questions? You got a question? And no, I hope I didn't force you to ask a question, because it's like, oh yeah, what's your birthday? All right, what's your question?
So my question is, Lorraine, I'm from Lorraine.
I'm sorry to hear that. No, I'm joking. I love Lorraine. I love Lorraine. So
Lorraine also has been going through, Lorraine also has been going through some growth with new businesses coming in and really trying to, you know, kick off that new growth. And it sounds like Elyria is trying to do the same. Wondering if you guys have had any collaboration working together.
Yes, so Mayor Bradley and I are meeting tomorrow to kind of discuss how we can partner. We think Lorraine has assets we don't have, we have assets they don't have. There's a great opportunity for us to collaborate, so I'm really looking forward to it. And I know some of the folks in this administration, I have folks who used to work in the city of Lorraine, working on my administration, so we think it's going to be a strong partnership, not only with the city of Lorraine, but Mayor Hunter and I have had breakfast a number of days, and he's been helping guide me and provide a lot of mentorship to me, so we think there's a strong partnership there. Also, our commissioners, we look forward to working with them as we're looking at issues like transportation, as we look at issues with the mall. We know we're going to have a strong partnership with our county as well, so we're looking forward to working with them as well. So again, I think there's a little bit of privilege that I have that I don't take for granted. Being elected as an independent, I get the opportunity, and I think most mayors function in this thinking, period. You have to work with whoever's in office. You don't have time to play party politics. It's who can help us get the job done for our community. You know, so last week I was meeting with Governor DeWine. We had a great meeting, and Job Ohio is going to be engaging with us as a city. So we're working across the aisles and trying to bring folks together and get things done for our city. So it extends beyond the city of Lorraine, but our county and our state as well. Questions? Hey, Mr. Battle.
Hey, you mentioned something about working with the superintendent of education. Could you give us some ideas? What are some of the things you discussed?
Yeah, so the question was about working with superintendents in the education space. So the hopes of this youth summit that we'll pull together is that the schools will be able to share their needs and say, hey, here's what we're seeing. One of the privileges I got the chance to do during the campaign, I met with a group of teachers and really just dug down. Like, what are you dealing with every day? And they talked, Andrew is a teacher. Hey, don't you have school today? What you doing here? And I think about it. I called her E too, that was real good. they talked to me about what they're dealing with every day. So they talked about the social emotional issues that students are dealing with. Just being hungry, going to school hungry, after school just roaming the streets, roaming the city, and not having anything to do outside of school, the mental health issues. So I think that's a great opportunity for us to hear those needs, and then as a community say, hey, I'll take that. You know, I'll take 10 kids and mentor them at my company and have them come over. You give me the 10 kids and I'll let them come over once a week or once a month to come to my company. Or hey, I'll step up and make them a part of my youth advisory council. Or I'll step up and mentor one kid. Or I'll allow a space in the library to now be dedicated to this population so that they can be served. So the hope is to bring us together, kind of share what the needs are, and kind of inspire individuals to get involved and engage so that students outside of school get support, but then also we can support the schools during the day as well. So that's the idea behind it. Thank you. Yeah, Danielle?
So you and I had some conversations about nonprofit community
Yeah.
and strengthening that. So what are you thinking now about leveraging the nonprofit community
Yeah.
and helping that stronger?
Yeah. So the question was around the nonprofit community and like what is my philosophy now that I'm in this capacity of helping our nonprofits. And there's been a temptation, I think, to go for what's comfortable and what's familiar. I think, and I'm getting preachy now, I think if we think about anytime we're being challenged to grow, there's a temptation to divert back to what we're comfortable with. You know, this new role, there's things that only I as a mayor can get done, like even by statute. And in my previous work, I would be working with nonprofits, running around, hey, let's help you out, let's share. But I realized like that's not the role I'm in anymore. And so now I have to rely on my community partners to be able to do that work. So when somebody comes to the city and says, hey Frank, I want to start a nonprofit in the city to help out organizations, I'm not going to be like, all right, I'm going to put a workshop on for you and teach you that. It's now, hey, well, let me connect you to the Community Foundation of Lorain County. Let me connect you to the Lorain County Community College. Let me connect you to the resource that it is. And so that's a growth area for me, and y'all should be proud of me for that, because I'm a hands-on person. I like to get in there and get the work done. It's just like, no, I can't help you. Let me connect you to the right resource. So, yeah, that's kind of how I'm approaching it. All right, so nobody asked me about it, so I'm going to talk about it. Midway Mall. And so the issue with so we'll talk about Midway Mall really briefly. Midway Mall, in my opinion, is one of the greatest pieces of real estate we have in this region. Right off of 80, 92. It's 20 minutes from the airport. It's a dream come true for anybody who needs to get people from the outside coming into an area, serving them, or doing something and then leaving back out. The challenge we have is that we don't have a unified ownership. We have 3 different owners of the mall property, and one of them purchased the property online on an auction, and they don't necessarily have a track record of developing malls or developing pretty much anything. One of them is really great at development. They've brought in Amazon to other communities. They know what they're doing. Whether it's an industrial use or retail use, they really know what they're doing. So again, what do we do as a city? Do we sit and just kind of, we're just stuck, let's just watch what happens and see what, no. I'm hounding them on the phone every other day. Hey, how can we help you sell this property to folks who are going to do something with it and get it done? And so I'm trying to play that mediator, middleman role and seeing what levers we have as a city to be able to maybe incentivize that purchase so that something can happen. Because if nothing happens, we'll continue to see decline around them all. So it has this ripple effect. So again, we do have a choice. We can do nothing and watch that happen, or we can engage and try to reverse the course and do something special. And again, when I brought this up around, I'm often, I just want to hear how we can do it. I don't want to hear if we can. I want to hear how we can do it. So I'm looking forward to us figuring that out as a city council. We've had great communication with city council. The city council just called me yesterday talking about the mall. So I'm really looking forward to working with them to get this mall together. And I may be calling on you, because I may say, hey, I need all of you to call their phone, blow up their line, and tell them to sell the mall. It's that advocacy I think I had up there. That advocacy side is important. So I may be calling on you all as well. I got time for one more question. Yeah, John? Yeah, I appreciate that. So 2 days. So he said that said, he asked me about meeting with businesses. We've had a number of business meetings already. What am I hearing? What is the roadblock? And I would say, we've heard things around just simple things like infrastructure, roads, and things like that. But the number one thing we're hearing as a challenge that we have to figure out is around talent attraction. How do we keep our talent here in the city, and how do we attract talent here? And so I want you to think in your minds, because some of you have children who were raised here and moved away. What would it take for your child to come back here to Elyria? What will it take for you to stay in Elyria? What will it take to keep our young people here who have a lot of talent? What would it take for them to stay here? And I want you to really think about what's your answer to that question. And I'll take a couple responses from you as well. How do you think we get young people to come to Elyria? How do we keep the talented young people here by choice? Not because they're forced, because they got some issues or can't hold them, but they're staying here by choice. I'm interested in hearing your feedback. Jobs. So last side story. Cleveland Clinic president, she's still here. Yeah. My daughter is in college in DC, and we got a 90% chance she's never coming back to move in Elyria. 90% chance. But now that I'm married, that might have changed a little bit. That was before I became married. So one of the things that I hear a lot of young people say, all right, what would it take you to come back? It's jobs. If there's a good job in Elyria for me to work in, I'd come back there and work there. And so I was just joking around with the president of I said, my daughter wants to be an OBGYN, she's in the medical field, and we're joking, so I got a spot for her. But it's that sort of mentality we really have to have. It's like, hey, the internship program we do through the Community Foundation, there's these companies create slots for us to engage our young people back into companies. So we have to, and the last thing I'll say about that is we have to create a cool factor. You got a cool mayor right now, so we got to create a cool factor in the city. You don't have to, you got a cool mayor, so we need to have some fun, make this city cool, and make Elyria fun again, and really to make this place a cool place for young people to be. So I'm committed to that. I look forward to working with you all, and my contact information is up here. Please contact me and get engaged. Thank you. God bless you.